Welcome to the Miami Heat Zone podcast. We're pushing to 6,000 subscribers. Make sure that you guys hit that subscribe button and thank you for all the support. Today we have my boy JC Smooth. JC, please let the people know where they can find you on YouTube.
Yes, sir. My name is JC Smooth. I'm a content creator, recent to the game, big, huge Miami Heat fan. If you're looking for general NBA content and looking for Miami Heat content, you can go ahead and check out my channel, JC Smooth. Pretty sure once you type it in, that's going to be the first channel that pops up.
So, JC, we see all the drama that has unfolded with the Miami Heat, but before we get all into it, who do you agree with? Pat Riley, Jimmy Butler? Like, which side are you on with that whole debate?
Very, very good question. Very good question. Um, I think it's real fishy. I really think I think it all started with the comment of I don't know if you remember the viral video that went out when Jimmy said if I was healthy, I would have beat the Knicks, Celtics, and then Pat saying, sit down because you're not playing. I think Jimmy took a little bit of offense to that. And I think from then on, it seemed to me that the relationship spiraled out. Now, I think Pat, I get it. He's not playing. He shouldn't be talking and whatnot. But, you got a guy that's has a high ego. And on top of that, he's super confident in his abilities. And I mean, quite frankly, if we're being real, if he did play, we are beating the Knicks and we are giving the Celtics a run for their money if we had a healthy team last year. Obviously, you can't doubt playoff Jimmy. I really think the disconnect starts with Pat. Even though Pat had a few good arguments, Jimmy has to play more than 65 games in the regular season to get and earn that extension. I mean, he's getting paid 50 mil a year. He has the player option as well. So, I mean, I just really don't see what was wrong with it. If he ended up playing 65 games this year, he would have ended up getting that extension. I mean, solidified. So, I mean, and it doesn't make any sense because you're in Golden State and you're getting California taxes. So half of your money's gone, with the state income tax. I mean, you could really say it's Pat. But the way Jimmy really handled the whole situation, I can't even really say that it's Pat, I mean, he's handled it really unprofessionally, really egotistically, and you got teammates, you got a team that you got to play for and represent. I honestly think Jimmy didn't handle it the best. I think he could have done a way better job. Obviously, Pat's not the best guy in this situation, but in my opinion, Jimmy is the problem here.
So when you look over these past few seasons, we see that we got Kyle Lowry. Tyler Hero broke his hand. Kyle Lowry had his own injuries. Bam, Dragic in the bubble. There's so many different injuries. Victor Oladipo, multiple season-ending injuries. Do you think that Pat Riley got Jimmy Butler pretty much enough help for the most part? I know a lot of people will say the undrafted, which I think they went a little bit too overboard, and I just think that it's a shame that pretty much within almost 6 seasons we weren't able to not even get one other superstar. Dame, Donovan, KD, Bradley Beal, and the list goes on. We weren't able to get any of them. I still think they should have really went out and got high level role players that help maximize Bam and Jimmy Butler. But that's just me. But do you think the Miami Heat got Jimmy Butler just the right amount of help?
Yeah, it's a phenomenal question you're asking there. There's a lot of different moving components we've had throughout the years, right? I mean, but to be in all fairness, we've been in discussions for getting Kevin Durant, Donovan Mitchell, James Harden when they were all on the block, and he didn't shoot, right? The shot didn't come. It didn't fall through when we had the pieces and assets to make that move. I mean, I really think we should have pushed harder. He was being extremely conservative when it came to the draft picks and players and acquisitions. But honestly, at this point, when you got players in their prime and you got guys ready to go, you got to shoot the shot, right? You got to go for it. You got to go for the kill and try and make it happen. Obviously, we're not in the front office. We're not in the back scenes and seeing what's going on. The only thing I can't um, get out on Pat is he did have the package ready for Dame. He put everything out there. Joe Cronin was just being extremely petty and sent Damian Lillard to the Bucks and didn't send him to the destination he wanted to. The Dame trade, as far as to my knowledge and based off of reports, was locked in, and Pat obviously threw out the package and everything like that. But Joe Cronin decided to deny that because he and had his beef with Dame and wanted to be petty with that. But yeah, as far as not going for the James Hardens, the Kevin Durant, the Donovan Mitchells aggressively and strong, no, he did not meet the mark on that. And yeah, we ended up getting a lot of older veteran guys that are good, but are past their prime. and they weren't much of help in the playoffs. Obviously, we are always have to take into account the injuries with Tyler breaking his hand and not playing against Denver. And it's extremely frustrating to see that repeatedly happen throughout the years. It happened with Dragic and Bam when we played the Lakers in the bubble. It's just extremely unfortunate. But in terms of not getting the shot to get Donovan, Kevin Durant, or at least being in the running of the second running, from what it seems like reports we weren't even there. Pat Riley definitely failed in that department.
Now, where do you stand with Tyler Hero? Man, there's a lot of different people, especially on Heat Twitter. They either like Tyler Hero or they hate Tyler Hero. There's really
Hmm.
no in between.
Hmm.
I think he's definitely improved. I mean, he was an all star this season. And it's like what we said before. Definitely, like in the past, he was injured a lot. Last season he missed 40 games. But obviously, Tyler Hero's extension is coming up. And I don't really see him getting the max, which is like 207 million. Absolutely not. But
Hmm.
he's even possibly looking at 50 million per. What do we do with Tyler Hero going forward? Is he a cornerstone piece? Is he a guy that now we trade him because he's pretty much his stock is at his highest? Where do you stand with Tyler Hero?
That's a great question. I mean, I am a big fan of Tyler Hero on a personal level, just because of how he came in as a rookie and was already super poised, has great 3-point shooting ability, great pull up jumper, has become an exceptional playmaker next to Bam with his passing and that 2-man tandem in the pick and roll. It's something you can't really replicate, and him and Bam in the pick and roll is one of the best two-way. Best two-player tandem we have in the league if you look at analytics and stats. And I know the fan base is a little bit torn, and I think it's because we have such a high expectations. We have, phenomenal players like Dwayne Wade, and I feel like we throw him into that conversation or try to imagine him, but he's a different aura of a player, different kind of a player. I really like Tyler just based off of the fact that he has improved every single year, and you cannot cross that out. Even on the defensive end, his effort has gotten extremely better. If you really look at it, he's playing really, really good defense. On top of that, really good rebounding guard, shoots and efficient. Obviously the extension is coming up, right? I mean, it's very hard how you play this. I mean, if he waits another year, he is eligible for that supermax. I personally think we shouldn't provide him that. If we were to give him an extension, we would provide that extension now around roughly the 40 mil a year mark. And then obviously I think you throw in some incentives. If you hit all NBA, you give another kicker there to bump up his salary and whatnot. And I think you have to kind of play with the contract like that, depending on how much guaranteed money he's getting. On a personal level, I really like Tyler. I think it's really hard to find a really good shooter and playmaker with his caliber, and he has good size. He's 6'5", and he's playing really good defense. I just don't see how we're going to replace that.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of questions because I just don't think that this Miami Heat team has like a number one solidified option where they're
Hmm.
gonna go out and go get 25 on anybody. Like of course Jimmy Butler is gone, and then to bring up Andrew Wiggins, he is 30 years old. I think we got Jimmy Butler around 29, 30 years old as well. What do you think about Andrew Wiggins? He had a huge game last night, 40 points. The game before that, 30 points. You know, Pretty much Eric Spoelstra said they want to run this thing through him. They want Andrew Wiggins to be aggressive. How do you feel about Andrew Wiggins? Is he a cornerstone piece? Do you want to trade him? I know a lot of people are talking about trades, but we have to be realistic here. Even if you get a Kevin Durant, I don't see a Kevin Durant, Tyler Hero and Bam Adebayo winning a championship unless you're going to have insane high level role players around those guys. You see what I'm saying? And then also, too, when it comes to Kevin Durant, unless he's going to say Miami and Miami only and really force that, there's a bunch of other teams that can outbid the Miami Heat that may be willing to give up one more first round pick or one more young player. Like the Spurs, like the OKC Thunder, like the Rockets. They have a lot of first round picks. So the Miami Heat could possibly even get bought out in that deal. So what do you think really about Andrew Wiggins going forward?
Yeah, I mean, I like Andrew a lot. I was always a fan of Andrew when he came out of college, Kansas, one of my personal, favorite college teams that I watch. Andrew's a really good player, really solid two-way player. He's actually one of the high-end two-way players that you don't see often in this league. I would throw him in the top 10 category in terms of top two-way players at the wing position. I mean, if you look at him play on both ends of the floor, I mean, he helped out Golden State win a championship. He was that benefactor. Clay was obviously falling short in those finals, and who stepped up was Andrew Wiggins. And I think all Andrew always had that potential, right? It was just a matter of consistency and being in the right role with the right coaches. to put him in that position to be successful. Now you bring up a great point of being in the running with Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant's getting old. Let's be honest here. What are we getting? 1, 2 years of his prime left. I mean, that's kind of hard to bargain. You trade away your future for a guy you're probably going to get the prime for 1 to 2 years. And Kevin Durant hasn't really been shown to be that number one guy winner. Jimmy was that guy. I mean, if you compare both of them, I'd take Jimmy over KD on a personal level, just because Jimmy got that dog in him and he's going to come in and be that number one guy. KD kind of likes to roll around, flourish to somebody who could take the lead and kind of play off that. So yeah, I really don't think we should buy into KD. I think we should see one more year of Andrew Wiggins, honestly. See how this roster overall looks, how it plays out into next year. Honestly, if Andrew's been the most consistent since we've got him since the trade deadline. I mean, I only think he's had like 4 games where he hasn't scored, like, I don't know, like 18 plus. He's been extremely consistent. He looks good. I mean, listen, if we can play off of him and he looks like he can be the number one option in that mid post area, and then just have Tyler spread the game out and then Bam also play off, I think it looks really good. But again, it's so hard. We've been so inconsistent this year. I think we just kind of have to sit back, look at our cards. But Andrew, if he finishes the season strong, I don't see another reason why not to bring him back.
Yeah, that's a very good point. Like I said, maybe they can somewhat give, Andrew Wiggins that, key culture boost or that SPO boost that pretty
Hmm.
much turns players into number one options. But like I said, historically, no one on this Miami Heat roster is a number one option. Bam, Tyler, or Wiggins. Who knows
Hmm.
what they could do with Wiggins going forward? But let's really move over to Kelel Ware. I think that Kelel Ware has been phenomenal in terms of he really didn't get that much playing time in the beginning of the season. And for him to be thrown in this mess with Jimmy gone and the losing streak and the up and down season, I think he's been able to help Bam Adebayo a lot. And I just think really, if he's able to focus on really gaining size and muscle mass this offseason while increasing his skill, I think he's going to be great next to Bam Adebayo. So what do you think about Kelel Ware this season?
Man, it's funny you say this. I was screaming since the beginning of the season because I watched Kalel at Indiana. Extremely lengthy prospect, has good bounce, very agile. Obviously, there's a learning curve to the league, but I honestly thought, you know, Spo should have thrown him out there those first few games for at least 10 minutes. You got to let the rookie come out there and get experience. I know Spo has this thing where he like hates on rookies. He holds them in the bench. Oh, we're not ready. We're not ready. You got to throw them in the fire sometimes, and you got to let the rookies figure it out. And it took him us losing a variety of games to finally throw him out there. And I think pressure from Bam to finally tell him, hey, throw him out there at the 5 so I can play the 4 and be comfortable. And once he did that, we actually had a 10-game stretch where it was looking good, and Bam was dropping 30. He was dropping consistent 30-point games, rebounds, assists. It opened up the game, and it opened up the game for Bam to take other bigs that aren't as agile off the dribble. And what's great about Ware is, he's a floor spacer as well as a lob threat. I mean, he opens up the game so much. He could stay out on the 3-point line and still give Bam that space to attack from the perimeter to get to the paint without help defense coming in and sinking in and making it a problem. I love Kelel Ware. His upside is huge. We have to keep playing him at the 5 with Bam. It's one of the best things and one of the bright spots, honestly, out of this season that it's looked like. So I'm a huge fan of Kelel Ware.
So real quick, right before we close, why do you think Terry Rozier has not worked out for this Miami Heat team? They gave up BBL Lowry, they gave up the first round pick. We were expecting Terry Rozier to really be that somewhat scoring, piece that we needed to give you at least 15, 18 points a game, especially with a stagnant Miami Heat offense that they can't, keep a lead. They can't crack more than 90 points. Why do you think Terry Rozier did not work out with the Miami Heat?
That's a great question. Great question. I have no idea because at parts of last year when we did trade him, he looked good. He looked good. He had a consistent shot. The pull-up game was working. He was getting to his floater. He was getting to his game. He looked comfortable. And then coming into this year, to start off the year, I went to a few games in person as well. He looked fine. He looked fine the first like 10 to 12 games. Obviously, he was a bit streaky. But honestly, he's just doesn't fit the mold of what we're trying to build here. He's just an off the dribble, high percentage, high shooting guard. And we already have that with Tyler. You can't have two at the same time built into this offense. So the thing with Terry is, I mean, honestly, it's just first off, his shot's not going down. And when his shot's not going down, it doesn't look good, because he's a high volume scorer. And honestly, it started off with his shooting, and then after that, it seemed like his whole game discombobbled because he's not naturally a good playmaker. He gets to his scoring spots first, and then the playmaking comes after that. But if you make him a playmaker first and then a scorer, it just doesn't work out. It just doesn't work out as well. He's too inconsistent at the 3 point line. And on top of that, I mean, listen, this may be some drama, but the federal prosecution that came out of him taking some bets, I mean, it's looking real, man. I mean, I've seen a few games, a few of these turnovers, and a few of these shots are extremely questionable. So listen, we might throw that in the basket as well as the reason why he may be playing bad. But we'll see. We'll see what the FBI has to see and has to say about him.
So, JC, once again, thank you so much for coming on the show. Please let the people know where they can find you on YouTube.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So you guys can find me at JC Smooth, uh, all platforms, even Instagram, JC Smooth underscore on Instagram as well, and then JC Smooth for my YouTube channel. Should be the first channel that pops up. Again, for any NBA general content as well as Miami Heat basketball content, I'm there. Going to be making some NBA draft videos soon, so be on the lookout for that, guys.
Guys, so make sure that you guys head over to his channel, like, share, comment, subscribe. We're pushing the 6K over here. Make sure that you guys hit that subscribe button, and thank you guys for all the support.